The Minnesota Timberwolves came into this game looking to make a statement, and they did just that with a dominant performance over the Phoenix Suns. From Anthony Edwards' electrifying energy to Rudy Gobert's dominance inside, the Wolves left no doubt about their defensive intensity and offensive firepower. Meanwhile, Devin Booker struggled to find his rhythm, and even Kevin Durant's efforts weren't enough to stop Minnesota's relentless attack. Before we dive into this action-packed matchup, make sure to subscribe to Basketball Insider USA for the latest NBA highlights, analysis, and game breakdowns. Now, let's get into it. The game started with Minnesota showing their size and strength inside. Nick Richards got the action going, muscling his way into the paint for an easy bucket. On the other end, Julius Randle took control for the Timberwolves, surveying the defense before kicking it out to Jaden McDaniels, who wasted no time knocking down a three from the wing. Minnesota was off to a hot start, and their defensive intensity was already making life difficult for the Suns. Devin Booker, who's usually automatic from mid-range, struggled early. He misfired on a couple of shots, and before long, his cold streak extended to just 2 for his last 16 attempts. Meanwhile, Randle was in attack mode, backing down his defender before stopping on a dime and draining a smooth mid-range jumper. The Wolves weren't just dominating offensively, their defense was suffocating, making it nearly impossible for the Suns to get into a rhythm. Gillespie showed off some impressive footwork, shaking Mike Conley off the dribble before going high off the glass for a tough bucket. Moments later, the Timberwolves nearly lost the ball, but Randle recovered and forced up a floater. It bounced off the rim, but Rudy Gobert was there to clean it up with a thunderous putback dunk. Minnesota's size and length were overwhelming Phoenix, and it was clear they were in full control. On the other end, Kevin Durant tried to get the Suns going. With a quick crossover, he pulled up from just inside the arc and buried the long two as the first quarter buzzer sounded. But even with KD heating up, Minnesota's ball movement continued to pick apart the Suns' defense. McDaniels made a tough catch in the post, spun past his defender, and finished through contact for the and-one. Alexander Walker added some highlight reel material of his own, driving baseline before twisting his body in midair and somehow converting a reverse layup off the glass. The Wolves were on fire, and the Suns had no answers. Coming out of the locker room, Phoenix needed a spark. But instead, Minnesota continued to pour it on. Conley, ever the veteran, knocked down a step-back three, leaving the Suns scrambling to find any momentum. Rudy Gobert was everywhere, controlling the paint on both ends of the floor, grabbing rebounds, and finishing with authority. Then came the highlight of the night, Anthony Edwards, soaring through the air for a putback slam after a missed shot. The entire arena erupted as the Wolves' star threw it down with pure force, extending the lead even further. Phoenix had no answer for Minnesota's relentless attack. Devin Booker finally got on the board, scoring his first field goal of the night with just over 3 minutes left in the third quarter. But it was far too little, too late. The Wolves kept their foot on the gas, moving the ball beautifully, and it was DiVincenzo slicing through the defense, drawing attention, and setting up Randle for an easy finish inside. Alexander Walker showed his ability to create, weaving through the defense and getting a tough layup to fall before Edwards flew in for another putback slam, sealing Phoenix's fate. The Suns looked completely outmatched, with Booker struggling at just 1 for 9 shooting on the night. As the game neared its final minutes, the Suns tried to mount a comeback. Cody Martin got a wide-open layup to cut the lead to 13, but the Wolves responded instantly. Kevin Durant found Royce O'Neal open in the corner, and he buried the three to keep Phoenix's slim hopes alive. But Minnesota wasn't about to let this one slip away. DiVincenzo pulled up from deep with a defender in his face and still drained the three, showing just how locked in the Wolves were. Moments later, it was Durant again trying to keep the Suns in it, but after missing a contested jumper, O'Neal grabbed the rebound and quickly reset. With no hesitation, he fired from beyond the arc and knocked down another big three. The Timberwolves refused to let up. As the Suns tried to make one final push, Edwards stepped up again, drilling a deep three to ice the game. The crowd exploded as Minnesota wrapped up one of their most dominant performances in weeks. In the final moments, Conley got past his defender and floated in another bucket, capping off a statement win for the Wolves. Even though Durant tried to respond with a three of his own, the outcome was already decided. As the final buzzer sounded, the Timberwolves secured a much-needed victory on their home floor, bouncing back in a big way after dropping 3 of their last 4 games. Minnesota's defense was elite, Their offense was clicking, and their energy was simply too much for Phoenix to handle. The Wolves reminded everyone why they're a serious threat in the Western Conference. Anthony Edwards was everywhere, Rudy Gobert dominated the paint, and the team's overall execution was near flawless. Meanwhile, Devin Booker and the Suns struggled mightily, with Booker finishing with just 3 points on a night to forget. What do you think about this performance? Can Minnesota keep this momentum going, or was this just a one-game statement? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Basketball Insider USA for more NBA highlights, game breakdowns, and all the latest updates from around the league.